Hello everyone, Zenreal Gaming coming at y'all with another video. I'm going to be pumping out these Fullmetal Alchemist deck profiles because this set is near. You should have your pre-releases this weekend at your local game stores, and the starter deck should be available. I have done a previous deck profile for that. Just check out the channel if you're interested in the Edward and Alphonse Elric brothers deck profile. In this deck profile, though, we are touching on Homunculus, and my girl Lust is in the game. I'm so excited to play with this card. She is beautiful. I love Lust. She is one of my favorite characters in the show for sure. So cool, so devious, so beautiful. I love Lust. So I'm building a deck based around her. I will say to start off, there is a lot of support for the homunculus cards in this set. You can take this deck any way you would like. Whichever homunculus is kind of your favorite, you can kind of build decks to go based off of that particular one. I will say that there are a lot of raid targets, so you can pick whichever ones are your favorite and then run them in any deck, and all the decks are going to feel very, very different because they gave us a lot of cards for the homunculus. In this particular deck profile, I'm trying to focus on the raid targets, which are Envy, Lust, and King Bradley. Lust being my favorite one, so maxing out on every copy of all the Lusts that we have. But King Bradley being the high end for the deck for sure. And then one touch of the Father. If you don't know, Father is kind of the like build 'em up version of purple for this archetype. It is really, really cool. But I think that if you go the Father route, you are going to have to, change the deck to be all around him, and I will, make a different deck profile for that. But at the moment, we're trying to focus on the couple of homunculus that show up a ton of the show, and obviously my girl Lust. So let's start with her. I know I usually start things a little bit different, but this is the girl right here. I love Lust. Lust, homunculus, 4 energy, 1 action point, 4,000 BP, 1 energy generator. It raids on top of Lust. When played, draw 2 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand into your sideline. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your sideline, draw an additional card. So you will draw 2 cards, place 2 cards into the sideline, and then draw a card. So refilling your hand and then putting cards into the sideline. And then with sideline, return up to 1 base card of this rated character to your hand, which is really, really cool. So you add Lust back to your hand. So this version, she will be in the Father deck if you'll be able to play it, because her payoff isn't a ton, but it is a lot of cycle for you to then, get some value with other cards in the deck. But that is Lust. That is the main Lust. Let's touch up on our events and sites while we're at it. We do have 4 of the specials. I'm choosing to run this special trigger outside of the, Bradley trigger. I probably should run that since I'm running a lot of Bradleys. But I do like this one being an instant that you do also have this other option of the card they could do, right? I'll be taking yours, talking about the Philosopher's Stones in the show. Obviously, 4 energy, 1 action point, special trigger, and life. It says choose one character with 3,000 less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline. If you have 4 or more homunculus affinity cards on your field, choose one of the following instead. 5,000 BP instead, or place the top 2 cards of your deck into your sideline. So a little more versatile with this one, maybe a little bit harder to get off because you're going to want to have a lot of homunculus on the field, but this deck should be really good about keeping that up. If I do feel like in testing this comes up to be a little bit less and I want to go with the Bradley card, I probably will, but at the moment I like the versatility of this one, essentially saying the same thing as the Bradley kill spell, but you could also place 2 cards from your deck into your sideline if that is more important to you. 4 of the, final triggers, Philosopher's Stone, really, really cool art. I love this one here. And then 2 of this 2 energy, 1 action point event card. It is a draw trigger in life, and it says Homunculi. Place the top 2 cards of your deck into your sideline, then add up to 1 purple card with Homunculus affinity from your sideline to your hand. So you get to fuel your sideline and then add anything that's in your sideline that is a homunculus back to your hand. So a very versatile card, being able to go through your entire graveyard to grab something that you want. Really, really cool. And then 2 of our site. This is the countrywide transmutation circle. Very, very scary from the show. We've seen it. 1 energy, 1 action point. It is a get trigger in life, 1 energy generator, and it says activate main, switch to resting. Once returned, place the top card of your deck to your sideline. Then if you have 20 more cards on your sideline, you get to draw a card. So a little payoff. It's just going to be, in 1 energy generator, and then later in the game let you draw some cards. You're really going to try to end the game really fast with a lot of raid cards in this deck. And we really are, if you can get to the payoff to a Father later in the game, so be it. You're always going to be able to find this card because the homunculi lets you mill to. And then if Father's in your sideline from, different shenanigans, then you can just add him back. So you really want to save this card to get the 1 copy of Father. If I need to find a way to, maybe put Father up to 2, I will, to have that kind of in-game potential. But Bradley will get us there. So touching on that, what does King Bradley do? It's a 6 energy, 1 action point, raid target, but he is strong. He's 4,500 plus BP for a 6 drop. That's pretty good. Not quite 5,000, but it says when played, he gains 500 BP and double attack until the end of the turn, which is really, really good, making him a 5,000 BP double attacker. And then he also says activate main if on the front line once per turn. Choose one character in your opponent's front line. It loses 1,000 BP until the end of the turn. If they have a little 1,000 BP blocker, give it minus 1,000. Now they don't have that body. Or if there's something big that is bigger than Bradley on the board, which is going to be pretty hard to do, but there are green decks out there that can be above this, you can minus it 1,000. Now they're going to have to lose that body if they want to block with it. But King Bradley is a game finisher, and he is, Lust is, getting you through the game, drawing cards, cycling through, getting to your Bradleys, and Bradley is how we're going to finish the game with that double attack, making them lose 1,000 each turn too, which is really, really good. Which is, even outside of that double attack, having someone who minuses 1,000 that's a 4,500 body, a lot of things aren't going to be able to get through that. But we do have another Bradley. This is Wrath. This is his Homunculus Human Forward, also treated as King Bradley, a 4 energy, 1 action point. I did originally, when I was building this deck, have this on a 4 because I think this is super, super strong. But it says if you have 20 or more cards on your sideline, this character gains Impact 1. So as soon as you have 20 or more cards, he now has Impact 1, which is really, really good. 4,000 BP, 1 energy generator, and an active trigger in life. So you're going to want to be able to try to find a way to get him back with the Homunculus card. Now, we've already touched on Lust. This is a raid. It raids on top of Lust. Win, play, draw 2, then trash 2. And then if you have 10 or more in your sideline, you draw an additional card. So you get to refill her. And then she's going to let you put her base rated card back into your hand, which is really, really good because you can just, you draw cards, get another Lust back to your hand. They kill her. You get the Lust back to your hand and then play that Lust to then raid on top of it with this one. Such a good card. Really, really strong. Like I said, we are running 1 copy of the Father. It's a 4 energy, 2 action point, 5,000 BP, 1 energy generator. This is another finisher for the game. You can only play this card if you have 20 more cards on your sideline, and there are no cards on the field the same card number as this card. Play this character set to active into your field. It has double attack, and it says when played, choose one character in opponent's front line and sideline. It's such a powerful card for only 4 energy, but you do have to get to that 20 or more cards on your sideline, which this deck can do pretty fast. It is a double attacker, which is crazy. It's going to come in active. You're going to sideline one of their characters, and you're swinging for 2. That's a 3-body play. I know that it seems like I should, bump this up to probably 2, but I do think that you can find it because it is a get trigger in life, and it also has other things too, like activate main. If in the sideline, you can only activate this ability if you have 20 or more cards on your sideline. Place 3 purple cards from your hand to the sideline. If you do, add this card from your sideline to your hand. So we have so many ways to get this Father back to our hand over and over again that I think 1 or 2 copies, maybe I should bump it up to 2. I'll do some play testing, but I feel like 1 is probably enough because you don't want to get him stuck in your hand because you want to cycle a ton with these other cards, the Lust and all these other cards cycling. You will find this Father. I'll do some testing. If I put it up to 2, I'll leave it in the comments later. But we have so many raid targets. Look at that. We have another raid target. It is Envy. Now, Envy is my least favorite homunculus in the show for good reason, right? Like, Envy is annoying. Envy is the one that probably messes with everybody the most in the show. He is very, very annoying, but Envy is such a strong card. You get to raid it on top of Envy when played. This character gains Impact 1 for the turn, which is really strong. We know how strong 4 energy, 4,000 BP impact bodies are. And then it also has Cycle. When attacking, draw a card and place 1 card from your hand to your sideline. And then when sideline, choose it 1 character in your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. Like, this has everything. It has impact. It has Cycle. It has control. Envy is going to be one of the MVPs in the deck. So good. Such a good card. We are running 2 of the 3 energy, 1 action point, double energy generator King Bradley's. Now, this one is 3,000 BP double energy. It's a draw trigger in life, so it's going to be in your sideline. You don't have a lot of ways to get this one back, but it says when played, choose 1 character on your field. It gains. This character cannot be chosen by your opponent's trigger abilities until the end of the turn. So whoever you want to keep safe, you play this Bradley out, keep them safe. This Bradley is one of your double energy generators. Like I said, the King Bradley is 6 energy, but we only really need to get there 1 time. We do have a lot of double energy generators, but this King Bradley, you're keeping in your hand when you do. This one's going to stay back, even though it is 3,000 BP. Do not move it up. I promise you don't want to move it up. This Bradley is the one that you're going to want to play early on to put some damage on your opponent. But like I said, we are maxing out on every Lust that we could play, and we have a 3 energy, 1 action point. This is the version of Lust in the art here that went on a date with the God, what's that guy's name? Anyway, she went on a date with him. That's her in her human form looking amazing. 3 energy, 1 action point, 2500 BP, double energy generator. This is your color trigger in the deck. You're gonna want to block early with your little bodies in purple so that way your color trigger is live. Don't forget to do that. I had that happen to me one time and now I never try to miss that again. I will block all day with the first swing at my purple if it means I have a purple 2 energy less that I get to play off my color trigger. She says, when played, look at the top card of your deck. If that card is a homunculus family, you may reveal it and add it to your hand. Otherwise, place it on the top of your deck or into your sideline. So, you may add it to your hand. You don't have to. And then it says, otherwise, place it at the top of your deck or into your sideline. You do not have to add this to your hand. You can throw the homunculus into the trash. You don't have to add it to your hand. She is a double energy generator. You're never moving her up. You want to keep her there with a Bradley, so that way then later in the game, you can go into the Bradley to push the pressure. Now, we are running 2 of the generic 2 energy, 1 action point, 2500 BP. When this character is active, generate another energy, King Bradley, plus a 2500 body, not bad. Now, we are running 2 of this Envy, and I wish I could run more of this Bradley and Envy, but they do not have triggers, right? And we want to keep the triggers at least above 40. You know I like to do that. We're at 42 at the moment, so we're sitting pretty good. But this Envy is so strong. 2 energy, 1 action point, 2000 BP, 1 energy generator. But it says your characters with raid can perform raid on this character, which is so crazy. Any of your other homunculus can raid on top of this Envy. This will come up. This Envy essentially acts like another copy of any of those other characters. So that way it is very versatile for you to be able to raid on top of. But then it says when played, if you have 2 or more cards on your sideline, choose up to 1 character unless be put on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. You can play this Envy on the back line later in the game when you have 5 energy, rest something, then raid on top of it with King Bradley. And then now this King Bradley is going to have double attack and you're going to put in a lot of work. Going to be super, super strong. Now, I don't like Pride. Pride is up there with one of my least favorite, but this card is too good not to run. It doesn't have a trigger, but it is one of the, bounce a card that's 1 or less, require energy in your hand if you can't. It's just a double energy generator that I think are super, super consistent. So we are trying to run that one. Now we are running 2 of the Gluttony. He does not also have a trigger. Very interesting. All these bigger cards we got have triggers. We get down to the little bodies and they don't have triggers. I really wish this Gluttony had been a draw trigger and I would have put it at a 4 of, but he does not. He does say win sideline, draw a card, 2000 BP, 1 energy generator, 1 energy, 1 action point. Now you're going to want to play this one on the front line to get early pressure. Let it get killed off early, so that way then it's in your sidelines. So that way if you do get a color trigger, you can bring it back out, swing in with some bodies, or block with it to draw another card. On the bodies of the characters, you don't have a lot of cycle, but the homunculus helps you cycle, and so does the countrywide. You have a decent amount of cycle in this deck, and you will get there just by raiding and playing off the cards, and you do have a lot of other triggers. We are running 2 of the Envy. Now, like I said, the other Envy counts towards all the other ones, and this is the only other Envy we're playing, but I did not want to up the 0 drops past the 10 mark because we are running such a high end. Like I said, but this is still 4 targets technically for Envy, so don't forget to do that. If you do raid on this one, you have taken away one of your raid targets, so this Envy may be something you want to trash later in the game. Because you don't have a ton of Envy targets, but just 2 of this Envy, I think it is really, really good, just to get trigger in life. 4 of this Lust. I love this art. This is such a good art of her doing her ultimate spear. 0 energy, 1 action point. When play, draw 1, then place some card from your hand to your sideline. Cycle in the deck, and it's a draw trigger, so you don't want to have it add it to your hand. Such a good card, but go to sideline. And then 4 of the 0 drop King Bradley. It is a get trigger in life. You want to see this guy because ultimately he is going to be the way you end the game, even though it is only at 3 copies. Now, if you really wanted to, you could drop the Envy down to 1 and then add another copy of the 0 drop Envy or Envy different way. But I do think that this is a decent list to go off of. But I'm looking forward to playing this deck, looking to get some practice in with it. I love Lust. I'm glad she's in the card game. And I do like Bradley a lot too. I thought Bradley was an amazing character in the show. And I am so excited to finally be able to build this deck this weekend, get some playtesting in with it, and have a lot of fun. But I want to know what you guys think. What archetype are y'all most excited for coming out in this Fullmetal Alchemist set? Please let me know in the comments down below. I will keep making some deck profiles to get you guys ready for your weekend. And you can kind of have an idea to go off of. But please leave the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.